When first starting to market your business, first learning those skills, should you be paying for traffic? This is the question that's been on my mind over the last week or two. So today I wanted to look at the pros and cons of paid versus organic and whether I think I should be considering paying for traffic at this early stage in my marketing goal. Hello and welcome back to the From Zero to Marketing Hero podcast. My name is Paul Heron. I'm a life coach and entrepreneur who transitioned from the uncertainty of not knowing how I was ever going to make my escape from the corporate world through all the ups and downs of setting up a business and learning these skills over the last 5 years to now having a successful coaching business. This podcast is my latest attempt at ensuring that I continue to step out of my comfort zone. Over the last 5 years, I have predominantly outsourced marketing, and I recently decided that this is the year that I am going to jump in the deep end and learn these skills for myself and start attracting my perfect ideal client into my world on my terms. The goal is to not only document my journey, but hopefully give you guys a bit of a look at how coaching strategies apply in real life. And along the way, hopefully you'll hear the highs and the lows and everything in between. So without any further ado, let's jump into today's episode. So today I wanted to quickly have a look at the pros and cons of paid traffic versus going down the organic route. And I guess it's probably a good place to start would be just to clarify what my definition of paid versus organic means. If you've been following along, you will know that I am already paying for leads through a pay-to-play service called bark.com. I have mentioned that a few times, and if anyone out there wants more information on how Bark works for me, please reach out and let me know, because I would be glad to share that if there's a demand for that or if there's a need for that. So you can reach out on Messenger, send a personal message to me and let me know if that sounds interesting, and we can start a conversation there. But Bark is basically a marketplace where you can buy leads that have made recent inquiries through Google search engines, for example, and have made inquiries about wanting to hire a life coach. So I have the opportunity to see these leads come through, I can purchase them, and then start my sales process from there. So I'm already in some ways paying a premium or paying a fee to have the chance to be able to start these conversations, which again is something that has worked for me. But when I'm talking about this whole marketing journey and learning the skills to be able to do my own marketing and to attract clients on my terms, I'm talking about moving away from paying for leads as such and moving towards a place where I have the systems and the processes in place to be able to regularly and consistently initiate conversations with my perfect ideal client whenever I need to. So when I'm talking about paid versus organic in this marketing context or the marketing challenge that I'm going through at the moment, I'm really talking about paid advertising rather than paying for leads. And that paid advertising could be, well, I guess it could be anything. But in my mind, I've really got Facebook, Instagram, your social media type advertising. And I've got keyword advertising through the likes of Google. Now, if I come back to my overall strategy, the strategy that I'm trying to develop is to become really clear on who my ideal perfect client is, really narrow down on what their specific goals and challenges and the problems that they are experiencing and facing. I want to start creating content and products that are directly aimed at solving their problems. And I think, in my mind, as you guys know, if you're following along, I am very, very new to this myself. But in my mind, when I'm thinking paid advertising, I'm thinking Facebook predominantly, or Facebook and Instagram predominantly. And I'm kind of thinking that the strategy would be quite similar, if not exactly the same, between paid versus organic. My strategy is to provide as much value as I can. It is to create conversations that move from post conversations, move into messenger conversations, and hopefully move those messenger conversations into a Zoom call or a sales call of some description. And hopefully, if everything goes to plan, a percentage of those conversations will eventually lead into paying customers coming into my business. So I guess that's the context that I want to have this conversation today in. And when I start to think about paid versus organic and the pros and cons of each, I think it really comes down to the amount of time I have available to put into these marketing activities, as well as the amount of money that I've got to be able to commit to this. Because I think that's now getting at that key difference between organic marketing versus paid advertising. So if we know what the paid advertising means, what does organic marketing look like? And again, there are varying different ways that this can be done. But in my mind, it would be creating that content, ensuring that it is really valuable and aimed specifically at my perfect client's problems and needs, and to spend time going to the places that my ideal client is hanging out online. So whether that be Facebook, LinkedIn groups, whether it be in person, it doesn't need to be online. I think for me, it predominantly would be online. But really taking the time to go to social media and provide a ton of value, answering people's questions, just being there as a reliable resource, and hoping that from that commitment, from that time being put in, invested into contributing online into these groups, hoping that that will start conversations and lead into sales calls and hopefully people coming into the business. So you can see that both methods are aiming to achieve exactly the same result. There is more of a time investment with the organic outreach. And what we're doing with the paid advertising is paying to have traffic delivered to the content that we're creating. I really do love taking the time and effort into doing these podcasts, because just going through this process of thinking out aloud right now as I create this is helping me see that for me personally right now, it's most likely a combination of both. I want to continue to create valuable content that I hope will resonate with my perfect client. And maybe there's a need to just keep creating and testing and seeing what lands, seeing what gets comments and what people start to resonate with. Like everything I've learned in marketing so far, it's always going to come back to testing and this continuous improvement mindset. So I think ultimately I just need to get started and try a combination of different things maybe and just seeing what works. But this conversation today has definitely got me thinking about some of the things that I can implement into my upcoming week, and we'll see how it goes. I'm sure this conversation of organic versus paid is something that I'm going to keep coming back to over the next 12 months. And I know there will be a point where I just need to get the testing done quicker. And the only way that I'm going to be able to test to get enough eyeballs on the things that I want to test is to have some paid advertising creating the traffic that I need. And I look forward to the time when I start doing that. But I think I just need to come back to that question of what I'm willing to risk in terms of, that balance between the time commitment to organic outreach and the financial commitment to the paid advertising. I just need to get that balance right. So somewhere in the middle, starting small with paid advertising, I might go in and set up my account and make sure it's all ready to go so that I can start boosting a few things when I'm ready to. But it really is going to depend on the organic reach that I'm able to gain from the posts that I'm putting out and the content I'm putting out. So I don't think I've ultimately been able to answer that question. It's been great to highlight some of the pros and cons. Hopefully you've got some value for that. And for today, I might leave the conversation there. If you are getting value from these podcasts, it'd be fantastic if you could hit that subscribe button. If you're listening along and you have some tips and advice for me on this conversation on paid versus organic outreach and traffic, please reach out and let me know. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions at all, reach out and let me know. The best place to get in touch with me is to head over to my website, paulheronlifecoaching.com. There's a few different ways you can make contact there. So I hope you have a fantastic day. Until tomorrow, bye for now.